Yesterday we were at the Hopi Nation, and we had a similar event. And Joan, I, and some of you here, we run those long distance races, right? And that started my health and wellness journey. I started walking, and I started running, and I lost 100 pounds running these races. We were doing 5Ks, 10Ks. Next thing you know, I was running marathons, which was great. And then there's crazy people, like the ultra runners that run hundreds of miles. And I say that because I respect the ultra runners, because those are long distance runs. And we were able to, share that journey of health and wellness. And I was able to meet some great folks along the way too. I met ultra runner Scott Jurek as well, and I don't know if you know Scott Jurek. He's one of the most elite athletes. He runs hundreds and hundreds of miles, and one time we ran across the Grand Canyon for an event. So I had all that time with him. So I asked him questions, right, John? A lot of questions. My question was, how did you become an ultra runner? How do you? Because he was making first place, second place at these runs, and I started picking his brain. And one of the things that he mentioned to me is, I'm vegan. I only eat plants. I don't eat any animals or animal products. And I was like, wow, I wonder what. Because when I ran these long distances, and the next day you're out. And that was for me too. I was laid out. I couldn't move. And I would just stay. Couldn't go do anything. Right, Joan? You probably know that. But he told me on the way, he goes, you know what? I went vegan, and I started running longer distance. And I was able to run further. And and then he said, I recovered quicker too. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a try and see what this is all about. And next thing you know, he was right. I was able to run longer, and I was able to recover quickly. The next day, I was able to move around. And so that started my plant-based, if you want to call it, vegan food journey. And then when I started thinking about it, and we already had a partnership with the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine and the diabetes program, right? You guys were partnered up before. And I started doing a little bit more, research and what you all were doing and what you all were preparing. Our own foods being prepared. And there's no studies in some of these foods that are being prepared. That's why I challenged yesterday the young people. I'll challenge some of the young people that are going to school today too, that we need published material about our own foods. Native Americans, African Americans, Asian Americans, people of color are lactose intolerant, up to 80+ % lactose intolerant. So you probably know when you drink milk or you ice cream, it gets kind of funky after a while, right? Because it's not from us. And Dr. Bernard mentioned that too. They brought over all these different ideas and animals too. And it's not the best food for our body. And, but when we went on the long walk to Fort Sumner, we were in captivity over there. We did a great run, didn't we? Back from Fort Sumner back to Navajo Nation during a 150-year commemoration. But our ancestors who were there were given food because we weren't able to grow our own foods there anymore because of the soil there, right? It wasn't like here on Navajo. It couldn't grow. So what did they do? They gave Navajo people their rations. And believe it or not, many people don't know this. That was when the start of the commodity food program. That's when it began. And fast forward today, Who loves that commodity cheese? Come on now. The Navajo gold, right? I know you guys barter with that gold. So I give you a block of cheese if you can give me a sheep arm, I think, today. But you know what? It's not one of the most healthy foods. You can see in the commodity food program too that there's so much grease in there, right? All the beef and all that food, processed food, aro kodote da, aro diabetes ishinla kanaha no da bayatye. Hade laishne quinzen. Eshido bitsado. Ado an hedanit edo. Aron le stored dan da ilni hoya. Chiyan at kinlo dal nagi quinzen, because we have a busy schedule. A lot of us are busy. And that's why the convenience of food is there. But we never really look at it. And I challenge you next time to go into a supermarket and the thing that you buy, check out the ingredients. They said that if it's more than, correct me if I'm wrong, 1 or 2 lines of ingredients, it's not good for you. If you turn it in the back and see the content, and if it's 6 lines, you're in trouble. That is probably the most processed food you can see. Whole foods, meaning if it's a banana, then on the ingredients it should just say banana. If it's beans, look at the thing, it should say beans, not all the other stuff around it. That's whole food, plant-based, ladies and gentlemen. By eating healthier foods, Dr. Bernard mentioned that, you can turn it around and be a lot healthier. So thank you so much. God bless you, everyone. Have a good day. And Joan, thank you again.